Today we are going to continue working on 3 different forms of a linear equation and show, do you know what those forms are? Point slope form is one. Standard form is one. We said point slope, so the other one is slope intercept, or y equals mx plus b form. So copy this problem down so that we can get started. Also, these forms will be given to you. You do not have to, it's not a bad thing to memorize these formulas like this one, but you do not have to. You have to know how to use the formula. So the first thing we're going to fill out is the slope. And we're going to put the y numbers at the top part of our formula. So the slope is equal to 1 minus a minus 2. 1 minus a minus 2. And 3 subtract 4 on the bottom. Now, this minus is from the formula. This minus is from the minus 2 right there. Minus a minus makes a plus. And 1 plus 2 would be 3. 3 subtract 4. And you have to reduce. The smaller number is on bottom. 1 goes into 3. 3 times. But it's got a negative sign because it's a negative slope. The slope is negative 3. Now, which form, we're going to write the linear equation, which form do you think it would be best to use? We have a slope, so we could do slope, intercept, or point slope. Why would point slope be the best? We already have points. We already have a slope. So next it would be better to use point slope form. That is point slope form. Every time I give you point slope form, I highlight these because those are the 3 parts that you're going to fill in with numbers. We know that the slope is negative 3 because we just figured it out. I usually fill that one in first because it's usually easier. Now, up here in my table, I could use either pair of points. I'm going to just use this one because it's first. So, this letter is x. Out of those 2 highlighted numbers that I just highlighted, which one of those is the x number? And y, and so that means that this is a 2. The 2 is the y number, and because of the negatives in the formula, if this is positive, this is negative. If this is negative, this is positive. That's the equation in point slope form. Now we're going to change it to slope intercept form. To change this form to slope intercept form, we have to distribute the negative 3. Y plus 2 equals negative 3x plus 12. 3 times 4 is 12. Negative times negative makes a positive 12. Is it in slope-intercept form yet? In slope-intercept form, that's y equals mx plus b form. Then I need the y by itself. What am I going to do with this plus 2 to get the y by itself? The opposite of plus 2 is subtract 2. If I subtract 2 on this side of my equation sign, and I put the orange line there to so I could see my equal sign. If I put the -2 over here, what do I have to put over here? What am I going to line it up with, the 3 or the 12? Why am I lining it up with the 12? Doesn't have an x. The 12 and the 2 are like terms. They don't have x's. And so the reason I did that was so that I can cancel it out. (12) subtract 2 is 10. That is the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. This is the line in point-slope form. This is the line in slope. It's the same line. It's just two different forms for the same line. And last, can we change it to standard form? Standard form is AX plus BY equals C. Standard form starts with X. The X and the Y are on the left side of the equal sign. Is this on the left side of the equal sign? Nope, it needs to be. How do I get this from this side to the other side? It's already minused. The opposite of subtract is add. We're going to add 3x to both sides. The reason we did that is to cancel it out on this side. Now, do we add those together and make 4xy? These are not like terms. So we have the 3x and we have the plus y, and it's equal to 10. Is that in standard form? Standard form has x and y on the left. It has all whole numbers, and this number must be positive. That's good to go. Example number 2 is starting from a graph. It would be so much easier with graph paper, but we'll do our best. 1, 1, 2, 3. This point is 1, 3. 2 and 1. This point is 2 and 1. And I'm off the screen. And this is the line that I want to write an equation for. If I had, let me start over. When I have a graph, you should count the slope by counting rise over run. Start with the bottom point. How far do you go up? How far do you go over? So this is at 1. So this is going to be up 2 over 1. Rise over run. Now, that's not the slope, because is this a positive slope line or a negative slope line? Do you see the line going down? This is a negative slope line. So when I reduce that, that means the slope is -2. I'll extend my graph a little bit. So if you have a graph paper and you can tell on your graph that the y-intercept is 0, 5, What form would it be? What form should I start with this time? I have the slope, I have the y-intercept from the graph, so I should start in y equals mx plus b form. So if I have the slope and if I have the y-intercept, can you just drop them into the equation? If you had a better piece of graph paper, it would be easier to tell. Then, can I change it to point slope form? I actually have several points I could use. I'm going to tell you that I want you to use this point in point slope form. y1 equals mx minus x1, and we're going to fill in this, this, and this. What's our slope? Still the same line. I'm writing another equation for that same line, so it still has the same slope. I said use this point right here, 2 or 1. Which one of those is the x number? And x goes with x. And y goes with y. If the points are positive, then they're negative in the equation because the equation is backwards because of the negative signs in the formula. And now, what about standard form? ax plus by equals c. Since we don't have to distribute anything out, it would be easier to change this one to standard form than that one. This one we're going to have to distribute, combine like terms, and then move it into the standard form. This one, all we have to do is move it into standard form. What do I mean, move it into standard form? The x has to be on the other side. So how do I get this minus 2x to the other side? And that cancels out. In the examples that I was doing yesterday, a lot of times I had to finish the problem by dividing everything by -1. Do I have to do that here? No, because this is already positive. This needs to be positive, and all of the numbers need to be whole numbers. That's good to go. You think it's easier to work from a graph than a table? Another thing, this is going to be your favorite kind of problem, I'm sure. What about a word problem? I'll go back in a minute. Aren't word problems your favorite? Warm water is filling a bathtub. At a rate of 8 gallons per minute. After 4 minutes, there are 37 gallons in the bathtub. Now, I started to say that our starting point would be 0, 0, that it would start out with the bathtub being empty, but we really don't know that. So, what do we know? Well, dial your brain back. Do you remember earlier in the year learning that slope is the rate of change? Slope is the rate of change. How much, well, it tells us what the rate. What is the rate of the water? So the slope is the rate of change of the water. The slope is 8 gallons per minute. Not just 8 gallons. 8 gallons per minute. That's how much it's changing. Increasing, by the way. Is this water going into the tub or going out of the tub? It's into the tub, so that would be a positive slope. If we pulled the drain and the water was going out, that would be a negative slope. What else do we know? We know that at 4 minutes, there were 37 gallons. That makes a point. We have a point and a slope. Which formula do you think we will use? So y minus y1 equals mx minus x1, and we're going to fill in this, this, and this. What number are we going to fill in for the slope? X goes with x. Which one of these numbers is an x number? The 4 is the x number. The 37 is the y number. If these are positive, these are negative because of the negatives in the formula. How would we change that to slope-intercept form? We distribute the 8 and combine like terms. I'm not going to do that because we've already done that several times. And then to change it to standard form, we would have to move the x and the y to the left-hand side of the equal sign and make sure everything is positive. So you will have several word problems to practice on your assignment today.